Hello everyone, my name is Loons, and today I'm going to talk about Phase 3 loot for Holy Paladins and TOGC. We'll be looking at mostly just heroic mode gear, since that's what most likely everybody will be doing off the start. I'll be talking about BiS items as well as alternatives, since a few pieces will be considered by other classes. I'll provide links to both sets of gear in my Discord. Thank you again for your time. Let's get started. Alrighty, up first, let's talk about the Helm. Tier Helm is going to be your BiS Helm, straight through. You're most likely going to have just your tier helm from last phase, which is the Conqueror's helm. A good upgrade if you're not getting tier helm right away, of course, the regalia item, even the 245 set helm is very good. Even a filler upgrade of what you probably currently have now is the Judgment Crown from Ani. But ideally, again, you run the tier helm, heroic mode tiered helm, as your helm with 21 chance to restore mana on spellcast, with your 10 stat gem if it's out, your nightmare tier. If not, you still run the 6 stat one to get your blue socket. Up next, we got the neck. This is one of the highly contested items. Most likely, if your guild is doing stuff correctly with loot, a Holy Paladin will not get this neck piece right away. You're going to be one of the last ones in line for it, even though it is technically BiS. The normal mode is still better than what you currently have, but most of you all will just be killing heroic, so that's the neck there for BiS. Most people run Shadow Grave. If you're full on haste, you're running the XT neck. No matter what, the Amulet Binding of Elements is a good filler. That is from Lord Durax's 10-man heroic. So it is still technically an upgrade because of how much haste we're going to have and epic gems. This neck is still going to be better, but ideally you do want the whale. For shoulders, again, straight upgrade from what you currently have. Either if you're using 4-piece tier T8 or you're using the Algalon shoulders, your tier is going to be a straight upgrade no matter what, from 245 or 258. Alright, for the cloak, this is more of a pipe dream, since most likely Holy Paladins, again, another item is fairly contested. The heroic 50 out of 50 cloak, 272 is your BiS, but every caster wants it. And again, most likely you're not going to get it as a Holy Paladin. Your second best option for your alternative cloak is the 10-man version of it. Very, very good. Again, higher chance of getting it over a caster. More chance of seeing it, honestly. If that doesn't work out, the Maiden's Favor is also very good. You just lose out on the haste, but we'll have enough haste to hit that 1.5 break cap anyways. So that is still a good cloak over the Sullen Goddess. So any of these 3 cloaks are very good. Again, of course, you always want the BiS. For chest piece, no brainer. Frozen Lake, it's the best one you can get. Tier's not great. Neither is the Flowing Elements. Frozen Lake, hands down, BiS, and that's from the twins. Up next is your bracers. No real competition here. You're just using the Broken Bonds from the faction champions. The bracers of Cloudy Omen are pretty good, pretty close, but this is what the shamans want. Rest of shamans want. Unless they're using Winter Gales, pretty much the same thing there, depending on the stats that they want, but again, there's no question about bracers. We only got one option. For weapons, if you do not have a Valenier is still BiS currently just because of the fact of the shielding. Does very, very well in Old War right now. Still going to do great in TOGC. But again, if you don't have Valenier, your Blade of the Unbroken Covenant is going to be your best. But again, you're going to have to fight for casters on this. Misery End is very good also. Either of the 2 are upgrades if you do not have a Valenier. Again, but Valenier is still BiS. For shields, there's really only one shield that you upgrade from a Wisdom Hold, and that's the heroic mode. Heroic mode faction champions. The only people you have to fight with is other Holy Paladins and Resto Shamans. For gloves, Pharaoh's gloves is technically better by a small, very, very small margin over the lifeless touches. It depends on if you have Pharaoh's Glove now. There's talks with other classes that Pharaoh's is still good in next tier for casters, but the Lifeless Touch doesn't seem like it's going to get that contested. So Lifeless Touch is very good. The tier gloves don't really have any crit. They just have haste, and we're going to have plenty of haste anyways from other pieces of gear, so it's not really warranted. Ideally, if you don't have Pharaoh's Gloves, you want Lifeless Touch. But Pharaoh Gloves wins out by a very, very, very small margin because you get a little bit more crit and haste for that 3 int loss. For belt, no brainer here. Belt the Iceberg, nothing even comes close. You will have to fight with Resto Shamans on it, but again, the plate one has about the same stats. There's just a little bit better stats on the Iceberg ones. Mainly crit and a little bit more spell power. Pants, straightforward. The leather ones are okay, a little less than what you got, but since the Resto Shamans don't have a male option for pants, this is their male option here. Doesn't have crit for them. It only has MP5 and haste. Pants, our tier pants aren't that great either. MP5, we don't need that. The Resto Shamans are going to want the leather pants, so the plate pants, again, yours, no contested. No contested in there. For boots, there's 2 options for boots. The male ones and the plate ones. Again, comes down to plate ones having no competition. Again, Shamans want the male ones. So, no brainer there. For rings, we are going to be going for Dark Mender. It has the highest int, no crit, but again, we gain crit in other pieces and lost haste, so we need a little bit more haste. And Nebula Band is still phase BiS from T8 now to T9, only because of Epic Gems. It beats out Heartmender barely because of the Epic Gem. So if you haven't got a Nebula Band yet, make sure you do your Heroic Pluses, grab that, and the only people that you're really fighting against a ring of the Dark Matter for is Resto Shamans, and depending on priests if they still need the haste or not, if they haven't hit their haste cap. As for trinkets, my suggestion, again, Meteorite Crystal is still going to be your BiS from last phase. Flat int and on use, still very good. My second trinket is going to be the Talisman of the Resurgence. Again, it's going to be a little bit better than Pandora's Plea. More int, on use spell power to make your Holy Lights a little bit better. It's always going to be better than Soul Preserver. If you're using your cooldowns properly, you're not going to be running out of mana. You're not going to need that 800 less cast. Again, more int, more cast, more healing, more crit, so on and so forth. It's time to start stacking the int trinkets. Now for the Librium, right now we're using the mana reduction, 113 mana reduction on Holy Light. Since fights might be short, this Librium can be worked into it to where every time you cast a Holy Light, you gain high spell power for 15 seconds and it has very high proc rate. So that being said, you're always going to have a flat 234 spell power constantly every time you Holy Light. So that's just going to make your Holy Lights beefy up a little bit more, and that, again, makes your Valiant shields a little bit stronger as long as you're not running out of mana. Now, if it comes to testing that you're running out of mana too much, you have to switch back to the other Librium of the 113 mana cost on Holy Light. So that's pretty much it. I just want to thank you all for watching, taking part of it. This is the first time I've ever done this. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put in the comments. If not, my Discord link will be down below. You can ask any questions there. Both the links for the gear set for BiS and Realistic BiS will be in the Discord also. Again, thank you very much. Good luck in TOGC, everyone.